Scientists have deciphered the world's oldest map, and it reveals the location of Noah's Ark. Michael Snyder reports, a discovery of absolutely epic proportions has just been revealed, but the corporate media in the United States almost entirely ignored it. A team of scientists led by Dr. Irving Finkel has deciphered the oldest map in the world, and we're being told that it actually reveals the location of the resting place of Noah's Ark. This is huge news, but the corporate media in our country were so focused on the presidential election that they barely took notice of it. Fortunately, many foreign news outlets publish feature stories about this amazing discovery. For example, the following comes from the Jerusalem Post. Scientists have recently unlocked the secrets of the world's oldest map, a 3,000-year-old clay tablet known as the Imago Mundi, which is believed to show the location of Noah's Ark. The ancient Babylonian artifact, etched with cuneiform, a script using wedge-shaped symbols, has puzzled archaeologists for centuries. Discovered in what is now Iraq in 1882, the tablet is housed at the British Museum, where it has become one of its famous collections. The Imago Mundi depicts a circular world map illustrating early Babylonian ideas about the world's creation. The map is thought to show the entire world, the known world at the time, with Mesopotamia at the bottom center. This ancient Babylonian artifact deeply puzzled researchers for many years, but now the code has been cracked, and the reverse side of the artifact contains incredible, stunning information. On the reverse side of the artifact, passages reportedly provide a guide describing what a traveler would encounter on their journey, including a path to Urartu and specific instructions on how to get there. One passage says, "To the fourth, to which you must travel 7 leagues. Another passage reportedly instructs those on the journey to go through 7 leagues to see something that is thick as a parsiktu vessel. The term parsiktu appears on the other ancient Babylonian tablets, referencing the scale of a vessel meant to withstand the legendary Great Flood. Researchers believe that Urartu, also known as Ararat, is linked to an ancient Mesopotamian poem recounting a family who, like Noah, landed their ark to preserve life following the 150-day flood. As the flooding ended, they were safely stationed at one of the peaks of Urartu, that's Ararat, which aligns with Ararat, the Hebrew term for the mountain where Noah's Ark is said to have come to rest after the flood. I was floored when I first saw this. According to Dr. Finkel, there is no doubt that Ararat is the Hebrew equivalent of the Assyrian Urartu. The first place you come to is called Urartu. It's drawn on the map. And now the interesting thing about that is that in the Bible, Noah in his ark landed on a mountain where the name is Ararat. Ararat is the Hebrew equivalent of the Assyrian Urartu. It's quite a meaty thing, quite an interesting thing to think about, because it shows that the story was the same, and of course that one led to the other, but also that from the Babylonian point of view, this was a matter-of-fact thing, said Finkel. He added, if you did go on this journey, you would see the remnants of this historic boat, which saved all of the life of the world for the long-term future. This is one of the biggest archaeological bombshells in history, and the British Museum has released a video in which Dr. Finkel shares more details about this remarkable discovery, and the video is here in the article. So if Noah's Ark really did come to rest in Urartu, Mount Ararat, is it still there? If you go to that region today, there is a geological formation that matches the exact dimensions of Noah's Ark that we are given in the Bible almost perfectly. It's called the Valley of the Eight. As we know, Noah and his 3 sons and their wives and his wife. That's 8 people. It's hard to ignore the striking shape of the Duru Pinar Formation. From the ground, the site appears as an enormous 538-foot-long mound, tapering to a point much like the bow of a ship. For decades, this feature alone has drawn adventurers, scientists, and ark enthusiasts to the region, hoping that this natural wonder could be the key to unlocking the truth behind one of the Bible's most enduring stories. The physical characteristics of the site align closely with the biblical description of the ark: a length of 300 cubits, a width of 50 cubits, and a height of 30 cubits. In order to determine the approximate age of the formation, scientists tested nearly 30 samples of rock and soil that were gathered from the site. What is merely a natural formation, or could it truly be the petrified remains of the legendary ark? In order to answer this, the researchers began collecting nearly 30 samples of soil and rock from the site, each carefully chosen to help unlock the geological secrets of the mound. The scientific test determined that the samples of rock and soil were between 3,500 and 5,000 years old, and this matches what we would expect if Noah's Ark really is sitting inside the Duru Pinar Formation. Their analysis, conducted at Istanbul Technical University, aimed to determine the formation's age and composition, focusing on identifying signs of ancient human presence or evidence suggesting the area had once submerged underwater. The samples initially dating places them between 3,500 and 5,000 years old, coinciding with the biblical timeline of Noah's flood. According to the report, the team also discovered clay-like substances and marine material within the soil. Of course, that is not all of the evidence that we have that's really could be the resting place of Noah's Ark. Ground-penetrating radar has revealed intriguing angular structures that are not typically associated with natural geological formations. In the period between the 1970s and the mid-1990s, interest in this peculiar site surged, thanks in large part to the exploration and research efforts of American adventurer and researcher Ron Wyatt and a team of Turkish scientists. More recently, investigations carried out in 2014 and 19 by independent private geophysical survey teams have further contributed to the intrigue surrounding the Duru Pinar Formation. These studies, using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, unveiled subterranean layers and intriguing angular structures, characteristics not typically associated with natural geological formations. To me, the images that ground-penetrating radar have produced are quite conclusive. And we know that large amounts of petrified wood are inside the Duru Pinar Formation. In fact, I personally know someone that made a journey to the Duru Pinar Formation many years ago and touched the petrified wood of the ark with his own hands. Isn't that something? I very much hope that the Duru Pinar Formation will be carefully excavated during the years ahead, because I want the whole world to see that the ark really is there. Needless to say, so many other historical accounts in the Bible have also been confirmed by archaeologists in recent years. In fact, as I point out in my new book, Archaeology and the Bible Have Never Contradicted One Another. In our time, archaeologists have made all sorts of amazing discoveries in the Middle East, but none of those discoveries has ever contradicted any information that we have in the Bible. Archaeologist Dr. Nelson Gluck once said that no archaeological discovery has ever controverted a biblical reference, and he was one of the most highly regarded archaeologists in the entire planet. Another very highly regarded archaeologist, Dr. John Ora Kinnaman, also had a tremendous amount of respect for the accuracy of the Bible. He once said that of the hundreds of thousands of artifacts found by the archaeologists, not one has ever been discovered that contradicts or denies one word, phrase, clause, or sentence of the Bible, but always confirms and verifies the facts of the biblical record. What will it take for the skeptics to finally admit the truth? When the Bible speaks on matters of history, it's always accurate. As for Noah's Ark, It still exists and it is waiting to be excavated now. Please pray that the excavation will be allowed by the appropriate authorities before it's too late. And this is by Michael Snyder on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, Why, is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecy of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely, happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.